Hello everybody, Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCG Online, and today I am bringing you the first part of a 4-part series that I am doing around the City Championship decks. And I know the City Championships were kind of in early January and this is the end of February, but I mean, better late than never, right? And also I saw these deck lists and really wanted to give them a shot because they're obviously very good lists, and they looked fun as well with a bunch of different archetypes to look at. I will obviously leave a link to all of the decks in the description below so you can check them out for yourself. But the first deck we are looking at today is a Darkness deck run by Kian Amini. I apologize if I said that name wrong, but he uses a deck centered around really Yveltal EX and Regirock, and considering Mega Manectric is kind of always a popular choice, you kind of want to run a fighting Pokemon along with these guys. So he chose Regirock with the Unyielding Rock attack, 60 plus 60 for your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon EX, which one-shots Manectric and Mega Manectric, so that is a great tech card to have. Going through the entire Pokemon line, we have 2 Shaman, 1 Smeargle for the second coat. We are only running a couple of Fighting Energy, so this is mainly for Regirock, although in a pinch it can work for either Yveltal. 4 Baby Yveltal for the Oblivion Wing. This is also fantastic against Night March because it OHKOs all of the Night March Pokemon with Oblivion Wing. I mean, slap a Muscle Band on there, it is even OHKOing Pumpkaboo with a Fighting Fury Belt, so that is pretty phenomenal. Only 2 Yveltal EX, but I mean, this is the main attacker, and you really only need 1 at a time. So I mean, having 1 prized isn't the end of the world, plus you're mainly attacking with Baby Yveltal before you can get this guy powered up. We are also running a 2-2 line of Zorua and Regirock. Regirock is fantastic with the stand-in ability, basically Keldeo Rush In, and Mind Jack for a DCE 10 plus 30 for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon, which is just fantastic. We are also running 2 Regirock to counter the Manectric decks. Like I said, Unyielding Rock, I mean, this guy does have a huge retreat cost, but I mean, that is why Zoroark's in here partially as well. On to the items and trainers, we are running 3 Battle Compressor to, I mean, get maybe like a couple of the supporters into the discard pile, but mainly Darkness and Fighting Energy for Oblivion Wing and second coat. That is great synergy to be able to get Darkness out of the discard pile onto like a Regirock, and then if you bring it active, well, Smeargle can now use second coat to put a Fighting instead of that Darkness. Running 3 Enhanced Hammers, just because, I mean, Special Energy is everywhere, and this is a way of slowing our opponents down, and is also like another little tech tool against Night March. Running 1 Super Rod to get some stuff back, 4 Trainer's Mail to get our trainer cards whenever we, like if we just want to look through our deck a little more, see if we can get a good trainer. That is great for milling through. 4 Ultra Ball to get everything out. 4 VS Seeker to reuse our trainer cards, and as you can tell, this deck is a little weak to Pyroar. It's our only way of taking it out is really Zoroark, who can actually be OHKO'd by a Muscle Band Scorching Fire. So we are running 1 Hex Maniac to shut that down, and it also can shut down bats in a pinch, so that is really nice to have in those situations. Running 1 Judge to disrupt our opponent. I'm not going to run... not me running, but Kian did not run any Professor Birch's observations. I guess the downside of drawing 4 cards, if you're only going to get 4, well, guess what? Your opponent's only going to get 4 as well. Running 2 Lysander to bring our opponent out, 4 Sycamore for draw support. Onto the tools, we have 2 Float Stones, mainly for Zoroark, but in a pinch can do for any one of our Pokemon because they all have kind of hefty retreat costs. 3 Muscle Band to increase damage output. As for the energy, we're running, I guess, a little bit heavier of an energy line. 4 DCE, because, I mean, every Pokemon except for Yveltal functions on DCE. I mean, even Smeargle. Slap a DCE on there and then use Beat for 30 damage. I mean, slap a Muscle Band on there, then, I mean, hey, you can almost knock out a Pumpkaboo. Running 7 Darkness Energy for our Dark Pokemon, and even Regirock, because we have 2 Fighting Energy that we can use second coat with. But yeah, that is the deck, and it's really fun. I've tried it a couple times, and it's obviously very good because Kian was able to win City Championships with this. But let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Sneasel 04 with, I'm not even sure what type of deck that is. I mean, I would say Night March or Manectric Bats, but then I saw a Dragon, so do get a call to coin flip. We do win the coin flip. This deck doesn't necessarily mind going second, but you do like to go first just to try to get ahead, get some stuff planned out, and especially if you kind of start like this, you would like a turn to kind of get going and get a chance to get out of the situation you are in. We start with a Zorua and a Smeargle in hand. You know what, since I go first, I'm just going to go ahead and slap down the Smeargle, see what my opponent is using. He is using Mega Manectric, so that is something to look at. We are going to go for the Battle Compressor, get rid of this, get rid of a Lysander, and probably get rid of another Darkness Energy. We will be discarding one with Professor Sycamore this turn, so we do Trainer's Mail. I think I'm just going to get another Battle Compressor, just to kind of thin my deck out a little bit. Go for this, get rid of, I think, probably just going to get rid of one more Darkness Energy. I will have 3 in the discard pile. I don't want to overextend myself, so let's just go for this. I draw another Zorua, and this is not the best start. If I can get an Ultra Ball, that would be phenomenal. Nope, I get a Muscle Band. Ooh, man, we're off to a pretty crummy start, so I'm just going to go ahead and slap a Float Stone on this Zorua, and I think, you know what, I'll throw a DCE on there just, do I want to do a DCE? Yeah, sure. I'll just go ahead and throw a DCE on there and end my turn. Unfortunately, we didn't get any of like our Yveltals or anything like that, so that's a bit unfortunate to start off with. My opponent does go for the Roller Skates. Does he get heads? Yes, he does. Ooh, Roller Skates are just a little too risky for me, and actually our first matchup is exactly why we run the Regirock in our deck for the Manectric matchup. This is not looking good. He will be able to overrun, and, well, he even runs Hoopa, so he'll be able to get, I'm not sure what else he'll get out. He'll probably try to grab, oh, he just grabs a Mega Manectric and a Shaman. I wonder what else my opponent can play down. He does just Lysander in the Smeargle, so I mean that's something, I guess. If I can get a Zoroark next turn, that would be great. In fact, next turn, if I can somehow get a VS Seeker or something like that, then I would be in a decent position. I would have to get rid of 2 Muscle Bands, but that's, I mean, in the position I'm in, that is the lesser of 2 evils. On the bright side, we could get a Zoroark out, and we could be able to go for a Mind Jack. So that's something to look at, I suppose. We do see a Professor Sycamore, so that is great. I'm going to put another Zorua down just because I might end up attacking with 1. And let's go ahead, and I don't want a Battle Compressor for anything, so let's just go ahead and go for this. See what we get. We get a Trainer's Mail, a Shaman, and a Regirock. So that's not the greatest thing in the world, but okay, so we do see another Float Stone. I'm going to go ahead and play this down. I might just go ahead and play the Fighting Energy onto the Regirock and then go for a Shaman. Hopefully get something I can work with. Maybe get an Ultra Ball and 2 Yveltal. That is definitely something I can work with. And I think I'm just going to have to sacrifice Smeargle this turn. I would be able to knock out the Manectric next turn with Regirock if I wanted to, so I'm just going to hold on to the Ultra Ball for now. I might have to go for another Shaman. We will see. Smeargle really, since I have the Fighting Energy on the Regirock, Smeargle doesn't do too much for me this battle, so I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. And my opponent will not be able to knock out, actually he will be able to knock out Regirock with the Manectric on the bench because I did put a Float Stone on it. That wasn't the smartest thing in hindsight, but if it got Lysandered active, I would be in a much worse position, and getting rid of 1 Mega Manectric is definitely worth sacrificing a Smeargle. And okay, my opponent just retreats out and evolves the Manectric on the bench. That is great. What I can do is go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Darkness and the Yveltal. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab a Zoroark. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Go ahead and play the Zoroark here onto this Zorua, play a DCE, go for a Professor Sycamore, and then let's go for that, then see what else we can get. Okay, so there are all our Pokemon. I can get rid of 1 Yveltal, and I think I'm going to get rid of one of the other Yveltals to grab another Zoroark. And nope, it is prized. Okay, noted. So let's go ahead and stand in. So this is a bit unfortunate, but it's nothing we can't work with, I don't think. And then let's just go for a Mind Jack to do 120 damage. So we actually are running pretty low on our deck count. That is very unfortunate, especially considering one of our Zoroark is prized. However, I don't think it is anything that we can't come back from, especially because I can Lysander in a Shaman next turn to get a knockout and hopefully draw a Zoroark off that. So my opponent does have a switch. He will be able to, I think... Okay, yeah, he must have... Oh, okay, so he just VS Seekers for a Lysander. I'm not sure what he's going to go for this turn. He has to have... I guess he brought in that Manectric for some reason. Okay, he brings in the Smeargle. I'm not sure what his thought process was behind that, because I can just stand in and then go for a Lysander on the Shaman. Get a knockout right there, and then get 2 cards. Hopefully I can get a Zoroark off of that, or an Energy, or a DCE. That works too. Any of those work. Muscle Band and an Yveltal. That's not quite what I was going for, but we'll work with it. Zoroark will probably be putting in a little bit of work this game. I mean, hopefully. Hoopa is down to 50 HP, so if I can get a Darkness Energy next turn, but it doesn't matter because my opponent just concedes. We were able to get too much going and I guess really just kind of overwhelm him, as it were. I guess the Zoroarks just proved to be too much. And yeah, that was a pretty solid first game. Not exactly how this deck is supposed to run, but I mean, that's the thing about these very like top tier decks, is they can run in a majority of different ways. So let's just go ahead and try to get another match with this deck. Alrighty, we have found one against I don't even know how to say that. Ioju? Maybe. I don't know. With a Steel, Psychic, and Water deck. So I'm intrigued to see what kind of deck my opponent is running. It doesn't even seem that he's running any Shaman at all. But just waiting for them to load. I mean, TCGO has been a little bit laggy today. So, I mean, we might be here for... I don't know. I mean, it usually doesn't take this long, but I mean, it seems my opponent's internet connection or something is not that good. As, okay, there we go. There, that's working. And it's like, I give up. Joe 615. And yes, we would like to go first. This deck doesn't necessarily mind going second, but I mean, going first is always nice. Especially when you have this start. This is actually a very solid start. We can slap all these guys down. We can slap a Muscle Band onto the active Yveltal, attach a Dark Energy, then go for a Sycamore. So this is a very, very good start. Let's go ahead and play this here. Go ahead and Sycamore. Unfortunately, we have to discard one of our Sycamores, which is not the greatest thing in the world. So what I am going to do is go ahead and play this and this, and I think I will just end my turn right there. I have a Sycamore in hand for next turn, so that is okay. Unfortunately, we are against a Seismitoad deck, and I don't like these guys. I mean, I will have to just try to run my regular energy because, I mean, they usually run Enhanced Hammers or something, and my opponent has a Professor's Letter, which, I don't know, I generally find that in Seismitoad... Okay, so this is like a... What? Is this a Bronzong Seismitoad deck? To try to power them up in the back? I'm not sure. I don't know why you would run Steel Energy in a Seismitoad deck. I guess if you're trying to power up Seismitoads in the background, I guess, but I don't know. I'm genuinely confused. We do see an Ultra Ball. It's okay, so it's a Seismitoad Mega Scizor deck. I guess the Seismitoad is just to try to stall initially. But either way, we don't want to run too many of our DCEs, and we want to attach regular energy when possible, just because we want to force him to rely on Crushing Hammer to get rid of them and the coin flip. And if we can get lucky on the flips, we will be in a great position. We do see the DCE, so he will be able to Quaking Punch this turn for 30 damage, but we will be able to hit them for 100 next turn, or even 110. I mean, I know I said we don't want to use the DCEs that much, but if we're in a position to use them, might as well. I'll be able to hit for 120 this turn, and that is great. So let's just go ahead and Evil Ball. I have another DCE in hand that I can knock out the Seismitoad next turn with, so that's, I mean, even if it enhanced hammers it away, that's not the biggest deal in the world. And what I could also do is, I mean, he's just powering up the Seismitoad and trying to power up the Scizor in the background, so what I think I'm going to do this turn is go ahead and power up the Regirock right here, just because, I mean, we have the time, and then let's go ahead and Y Cyclone, I guess, get the, I think I'll get the DCE off of the Yveltal and attach it to the Regirock on the bench, and then we will take 2 prizes already, so that is pretty cool. And we get a Darkness Energy and another Yveltal, so that is great. We will be able to use our items next turn too, so that is just phenomenal. My opponent looks, so he has to have a Scizor. Okay, so he's using a Rainbow Energy. We will be able to Enhanced Hammer that away as he just goes for a Gale Thrust. Does 50 damage to us. That's not enough, so we will be able to just go ahead and Enhanced Hammer away the Rainbow Energy. Go for, I think I'm going to Ultra Ball away the Darkness, and I think the Lysander for a Zoroark. Let's go ahead and grab that. Let's play it down. Let's go ahead and play another Yveltal. Let's put the, I think I'll put the DCE on this guy. Let's go ahead and Trainer's Mail, see what we can get. We get a Float Stone. That is great to see. Let's play that onto the Zoroark. Let's go ahead and Trainer's Mail again, see what else we can grab. I think I'll just grab another Enhanced Hammer just in case. I mean, I can, let's see, have I used my supporter for the turn? I don't think I have, but I don't necessarily want to go for the Lysander just in case my opponent has, I don't know, something. And I think I'm just going to go for a, do I want to Y Cyclone or Evil Ball? I think I will Evil Ball this turn. Just, you know what? I'll Y Cyclone. That way I can get the DCE onto this Yveltal on the bench and keep, I mean, this Yveltal might go down, but I do have a Sycamore in hand, well, basically in hand with a VS Seeker. I don't think there's any way my opponent can Quaking Punch this turn, but if he does, then, I mean, it won't kill my Yveltal, and I have another DCE in hand that I'll just be able to smack it with. He does grab a Crushing Hammer, so this will be sad to see if my opponent can get it. Okay, so he does get the Crushing Hammer. It'll be interesting to see which energy he goes for. Either way, I think I'm in an okay position-ish, just because I do have the Rush Treat with Zoroark. And, okay, so he gets rid of the DCE on Regirock. That must mean that he can do something this turn. If not, we'll just, okay, so he really can't do anything this turn. So he just Steel Wings, and I'm going to go ahead and go for the, yeah, let's go for a DCE, and then let's just Sycamore. We will be able to knock the Scizor out with a Y Cyclone, and then put the DCE onto the, okay, and my opponent just scoops. I guess we had too good of a setup, and I mean, that's the problem with stall decks sometimes, is that you really don't, that you don't have all, that you run short on draw support. Blah, I can't talk. Now, you might notice that the deck that I'm using and the decks that I will be using do not include any Breakpoint cards. I would like to point out that the City Championships were before the release of Breakpoint, and while I was tempted to update them here and there, I decided to stay true to the original designers of the deck and keep them as they are. So, I mean, I could have, but I decided against it just in the spirit of, I guess, paying proper tribute to those who have won with this deck. But yeah, you see this deck, I mean, it's a very simple idea. You attack with the Yveltals, and then you have a rock guy in the back to beat up the electrics that give you trouble. So very basic idea that I think was showcased in my Yveltal Gallade deck that I used previously. But obviously, good idea, won City Championships, and I look forward to seeing what this archetype is able to do in the future. But alright, that is part 1, guys. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. And again, this deck was used by Kian Amini. I apologize if I said that wrong. But yeah, this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys.